Yeah, just but it seemed like it was a good option. Just little white things.
Don't worry about it. It's just okay.
They can't see it.
I'm nervous. I'm just kidding.
I thought I would be.
You're not?
Just because.
No, it's just a conversation. We're just hanging out.
Then I was thinking, wait, what is she going to ask me, though?
All the hard questions about AFS, all the deep secrets. I'm just kidding. All right, Coach, are we going to pray?
Yeah, Jay is praying.
Jay, go
always
ahead, pray.
for the podcast.
Gracias, Dios, para eso. Thank you, Lord, for this day. We appreciate you. Thank you for bringing us together. Bless this podcast. Bless the rest of this day. Bless everybody who's hearing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Actually, it's nervous. What
Been
the?
so
I am
long for you
nervous.
guys.
I think, it's
Seriously.
been long, too. It's been a while
Do
since.
you have questions in your head already? That
Not really.
Yeah.
Stop. No,
She has a template somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah, I'm a question queen. But no, not really. I'm just gonna go with the flow. I mean, I kind of have an idea. I just put myself in the shoes of like people that are listening, and even I am still a student of AFS, and I have like curiosity of like you know how it all started. So, Coach Franklin, do you want to like open it up, Rena?
Yeah, why not? You know, I always tell people I started teaching a long time ago, probably in the mid '90s, and I was teaching in the high desert in a gym over there, and little problem got in the way, and then I moved to another gym in Rancho Cucamonga, and a lot of people were following me wherever I was going. Got to the point where after Rancho Cucamonga, I was in Body Shots, I think, for about 2 or 3 years teaching with William Serapai and some of the guys, and then they have an open in American Sport University to do the first MMA program in a university, and they invited me to be the coach, and I was there for about a year or two, and little by little we start getting more like you should open your own style,
Like people started telling you, or you already had gotten to the
no,
idea?
people was telling me, because unfortunately in a lot of gyms you go to the gyms and there's always problems like coaches or stuff like that, and we were having that problem, a lot. And one day one of the students said, "Hey, coach, you should open your own stuff." And we came to this location, and they were charging at the time like $5,500. We are talking about 2000 and around 2003, I would say. And I say, no, it's too much. Thanks to Obama, the economy crashed. Just kidding. And then
Democrats.
I come back here, and they were charging $2,500 a month.
I honestly don't
It dropped like
remember.
half.
But it,
And then it's when in the middle
opportunity.
in the middle of the crisis,
Yeah.
we came here, and we started with 13 people.
Yeah, and I think it's special. Like, I wanted to sit down with the three of you because that's, for those of you that don't know, which I'm sure everybody knows, the backbone of this business is Rena, which is your wife, and then Coach Franklin, the owner, and then Coach Jay, you've been here with them since the very beginning too.
part
So
of the fixtures now.
yeah. So, man, there's so many different ways we can go about it, but I guess we could start with how you guys met. Like, how you guys met Jay. What was that first? And how did you guys know you guys wanted to
Like Jay,
partner with him?
Jay always say we have a different stories. But when I was teaching in American Sport University and some of these gyms, we used to do smokers. It was like amateur, like the amateur
Underground, right?
before the commission was involved, and everywhere we go, we used to see his team. He used to be part of another team up there, and we became friends.
Were
And,
you already coaching? Or you were just...
I was
yeah,
coaching.
yeah. But Jay was a kid, he was a kid, and he was, I saw, he was very passionate about it, and we became friends, and we started training together. And
So now
Here
what's
we
your
are.
story?
Don't bring any costume stories up, Franklin.
I kind of want to know now, but
Man, so I started in 2005. I think I don't know if I met Franklin in like 2005 or 2006. I'll say 2006. At a smoker, we used to host smokers at our gym. I don't recall who fought, but I remember my first real memory of Franklin was one of his guys was getting slammed in the ring, and his guy posted.
Jose Magdaleno.
Yeah.
Jose Magdaleno.
So he posted while he was getting taken down, and he broke his arm, and everybody's like,
yes,
the
it
whole
was
crowd.
crazy.
So that's around the time I remember meeting Franklin. So that had to be about 2006, right? Because Syed had just fought or was going to fight Nam Pham. Richard was still doing smokers. I think he did 3 or 2. How many did he do?
It has to be before, because
Really?
when Syed fought Nam Pham, he already fought for me in Costa Rica in 2006.
Okay, so
And then it has to be around 2005, 4 or 5. Yeah, around
Dang.
there.
yeah, so
Yes,
that's when
uh-huh.
I remember meeting Franklin,
20 plus years.
Yeah.
and then
so you guys saw Jay grow up.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah. So that's when I met Franklin. And then I left the gym. And then I was at a fight show, I don't know, 2007 or 2008. I think it is when I started working out with Franklin. So I was at a show, and I seen Franklin in passing, and he was like, dude, where are you training? Where are you working out? I was like, I'm just driving to different gyms and training. He's like, come over to my spot. And then I don't remember where it was, but I know when I really started training with you was at the boxing gym in
It
San
was
Bernardino.
in
So-
Highland,
Yeah. So
by San Manuel Casino.
Yep. So my little cousin Philip and we would drive over to Highland to train with Franklin, and then followed Franklin around, and then ended up here in, I don't know, a couple years later.
2010.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rena, do you remember like the first time Coach like brought up the idea like I want to open up a gym?
I don't remember the exact month
Yeah,
or
yeah,
year.
yeah.
But I remember the panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the biggest fear in my mind was how on earth could we afford to do
Right,
that?
right, right.
The
Like,
unknown
the unknown.
is a huge fear factor. And granted, I was working in the corporate world and not doing too bad financially in IT, but still to know that, or to not know
Yeah, to not
that
know.
we could survive and the gym would sustain us is a huge fear factor.
So when did you start like getting on board with it? Were you just trusted?
I was just trusting him. I had no choice. He was going to do it
Yeah.
regardless. So I had to be on board or not. And it was a pretty phenomenal event when it actually happened.
Yeah, I always tell people it was rough the first 5 years,
Yeah.
6 years. It was really, really tough because we started with 13 people. And I remember everybody, when I was telling people about the gym and how many people you have? Oh, like 13. Oh, okay. It's a good amount. And do you have the rent for the next 6 months? I say I had the rent for the first month. Coach, don't even try it because 6 months later the gym is not gonna exist. And I was like, we see, But it was good because by the end of that month, the first month, we had like 37 people at the gym.
Yeah.
And we started paying the rent, and I used to pay Jay like $10 a month. Seriously, the first few years, it was really, really tough, and it was, we just suck it up. I had no choice, like you say, and it was, paying the rent, paying the bills, and just a little bit of money right there, and it was tough.
Took a lot
it
of
was
faith.
Tough. Yeah.
I remember when you did open it up, and part of the conversation was like, okay, so I was like, yeah, if you open it up, like I have students from the other gym that will come because they started closing. They had multiple gyms. They were closing them down. And then the last gym they had was struggling. So I figured, oh, Facebook will be a good tool. But we had people come check out the class and then they just never became members. So, and I think that was kind of just the same thing with you because, you know, Coach has been teaching for, at that point, already like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like 4 or 5. So, and all I did was teach kickboxing for kids and adults. So I had a couple of kids come later on that were like in their mid-teens, but this was probably like a year or so into us being open. But I had kind of just thought everybody else was going to migrate over with us. And then didn't work out that way.
No, and the good thing for me with Jay was that he used to have another job. Then, you know, he was not dependent 100% in the gym. But
He believed in the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was rough.
So do you like kind of like the same question with Rena? Do you remember the first time he kind of pitched you the idea? Like, what did you think? Or?
Yeah. Well, in my head, Franklin already had a gym.
Yeah.
I was just following him. So I was like, I think he was talking about, he had mentioned it to me. We were in Corona. And then he had mentioned it to me. And he's like, where do you think? And I was like, dude, Fontana. And I didn't know Coach lived in Fontana. And then he was like, yeah, oh, I live in Fontana.
What?
And he's like, let's look. And I was thinking more like the Southridge area. I wasn't thinking the Heritage spot. But, I mean, this is where we ended up, and it's worked out good. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're both thinking Fontana. Because at the time, there wasn't anybody in Rialto. There wasn't anybody in Fontana either that was doing MMA. I think there might have been, boxing and maybe Muay Thai.
Muay Thai place
Boxing
right
and Muay Thai. But other than that, the closest thing was going to be Millennia, and they're like a good
5 miles, 4 or 5 miles.
5 miles, but it's a big 4 or 5 miles. Like if you're driving, it's 20 minutes.
Right.
So at the time, like this was the spot. I figured it was going to be a good spot, and in my heart, like I kind of wanted to be in Fontana anyways. Because obviously I'm a local. I grew up here.
Yeah.
And there was just nothing around that. There was nothing around. And especially there was no quality around either. So that's why I was like, Fontana's got to be the spot. And then it ended up, remember when he was like, hey, there's a spot. Come check it out. And then it was just a big, long, empty warehouse.
Seriously.
Is it the one down a couple
in the back? No.
It's big. Like it was just...
No upstairs, just
no upstairs, one huge room.
The warehouse was twice as big as the one.
Yeah.
Wow.
But God definitely had his hand in the whole thing.
Of course.
For a couple points. The fact that we are 3 blocks away
Yeah, literally.
is a huge blessing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is from the month we opened all the way till now, we have never been in the red. We have always stayed in the green. Granted, we probably didn't get too much income ourselves, but everything else got paid.
It wasn't a lot of green, but it was green.
Yeah. Yeah. So I truly find that amazing.
Which is not normal for a lot of businesses. No. Usually they're in debt for the first 3 to 5 years, and then they're in the green afterwards.
Yep. We didn't max out credit cards. I mean, it just God provided.
Yeah, it's crazy because around 2015, things started getting better. 16, 17, 18, and then COVID. Oh my goodness. And everybody, I used to talk to friends and they say, no, we closed the gym. And it was terrible, but it's when the gym was getting to the point where, okay, we are good right now. And got a little bit ugly again. But God was good there. It was good.
What were like the biggest struggles, like opening up AFS, like whatever that is, the biggest challenges?
We don't money, because the rest of the stuff, seriously,
clientele.
Yeah,
it's like we have everything, but the clientele immediately. But we started out with 13 people, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
About the good thing with us is every time that we have something to do at the gym or stuff like that, everybody is there to help.
Well, yeah, that's what my next question was. How did you guys create this family culture that we have here? Because almost everyone, anybody that's here long enough will say that. It's a family culture.
Our parents created it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because like for reals, like that was my thing when I was looking for a new facility and coach and team to join. I was like, it's got to be family. And Frank said, dude, you got to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going, and then the dudes just always showing up for each other. So I was like, this is where I got to be. Yeah.
And when you think about how everybody is in the same page here, the first time that I have a challenge in the front desk was a guy walking the gym, and he say, hey, he started asking me questions about my coaches and everything, and I answered him. Then he said, but you have a contract for a year. Why should I sign up here? And he said, I already know the answer, but he said, you're going to tell me because we are good. Everybody say that. He said, you got to give me something, then I go to another gym and they don't have. He said, it has to be something different, something unique in order for me to lock myself in a year contract. He said, don't tell me a good reason without telling me that you're the best. Like that in the front desk. And I was like, what a good question. I never had that question anywhere I go. Who is your coach? Who are your coach's coach? And who are the coaches' coaches?
Yeah.
And nobody. And I remember I was talking with Rena once, and I was telling her, we got to do something that is different than everybody else. And but from the beginning, we were praying for this place. We were like, I believe from the moment that people start asking me about to open the gym, then this was God's plan. And that was pretty much the reason that we can offer somebody else, somebody that is not in another gym, because there's a lot of good gyms. I still believe we're the best. I still believe we have really good staff here, but everybody can say that. But something then, and you see that, and everybody's seeing it, then everybody's safe here. You can bring a 3 or 4-year-old kid to the gym and go home knowing that nothing is going to happen to that kid. No, there is not even, nobody walk out of the door, a kid without the parent. And another thing is, we love Jesus here, and it's very important that people know that. Then we are Christians, then working mixed martial arts, not the way around. The other way around, We are not martial artists that are Christian. We are Christian, then, do martial arts, and it's more important for us the first thing than the second one. And that's why a lot of people stay here, because you can go and get really, really good martial arts and over there, and at the same time know then if you have a problem and you need somebody to talk to, you can. There's a lot of people here that you can talk to.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd like to go back to some of the struggles in the beginning. It was a whole different story for me, I think, than all of the coaches and the members in the class, because I had never run a business before. Kind of jumped into this with both feet without really any preview
guidance, template,
nothing.
Yeah.
And I think we relied on asking other people that had businesses, what kind of application did they use for their members and things like that. So it was a huge learning curve. And I will say, looking back now, I'm kind of surprised that it went as smoothly as it did. We learned along the way, with the application we had to begin with, finally discovered it wasn't what we needed. We needed something better. And so that was a lot of struggle in the beginning. and it quickly became a day in the life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the biggest struggle for me, I think. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, aside from the struggles, I think it's an interesting story how we started out on the backside of this complex, where they wouldn't allow us to put signs out in the front or anything. People
the
couldn't
hostel
find
too.
us
What?
Yeah.
Why?
because it's not a storefront type place. It's an industrial
Oh,
complex.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we actually took the risk and put a couple fold-out signs out there. Somebody ended up stealing it. So we tried a few times to advertise that way. And even with that restriction, we still grew really quickly back there. The story that's interesting is about the karate guy that was next door to this building, to this complex. He would be stealing our members.
Oh.
We would pass out flyers. We had kids passing out flyers all over the neighborhood several times, for quite a
yeah.
while.
How cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
And one of the people that had a flyer, they eventually found us and told us that the karate guy next door said, "Yeah, coach isn't here right now. Come on in. I'll show you around." And he eventually found us. Do you know who that was?
No, it was a girl. Carla.
It was a girl? Oh, it was Carla?
It was Carla,
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh
this-
my gosh.
This bum. But again, God had
I love
his,
Rena.
God had his hand in the whole thing
Yeah.
because eventually, this was like keep your friends close and your enemies closer kind of thing, because he was an enemy. He would stab us in the back, but he would be so friendly to our face.
Oh.
Yeah. And eventually he wasn't doing well.
Yeah. That'll happen.
I think
It'll
they
catch
changed
up.
ownerships or something, and it was too big for them, so they ended up moving out.
Wow.
And that's when we were offered this unit, and God took it from there. And so,
Wow. Yeah, you said right now, like, it quickly became a day in the life. I've thought about that. Even working here, I'm like, dang, they've been doing this like every day,
20 years.
For 20 years. No, I do think about that. I was actually cleaning the bathroom. I was thinking about this. And I was like, dang, like what drives and motivates Jay? I was thinking at that moment. I was thinking about Jay, like to just do this day in and day out. Of course, it's like the commitment to the vision, but like, what about it is like keeps you going and keeps you, because you're
there's a
passionate
lot of
about it,
things.
because you're pretty passionate about it every day till this day.
There's a lot of different reasons. Like, it's not just one. One, I just thoroughly enjoy it. Like, I love it. It's kind of, I guess you can say it's therapeutical, which we all know it is, right? So on top of that, I also, then it comes down to the people, like watching them develop. Well, I like to work, but I also like to see my work pan out. You know what I mean? Like where you plant seeds. I like to see that. I like to see the outcome. And then the other thing too is like they can really be anywhere else. They could be with anybody else in the world. A bad coach, a good coach, a coach that don't care, a relative that don't care, anybody else. And for however long they're with me, I get to hang out with them and invest into
That's
them. And sometimes they're not around crazy long, and sometimes they're around long. They leave, they come back again, and it's just I get to invest, and I enjoy that aspect too. Because again, I like to feel like I'm growing. So if I could pour into them, that also makes me feel like I'm growing and helping someone else.
Yeah.
you're making a difference.
Yeah, I remember you said that, and it stuck with me that they could, like, these little kids could be anywhere with anybody, but for this hour.
Well, the adults too,
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing, the adults, because I mean, whether it comes to their spouse being negative or bad for their psyche, and then they get to spend an hour here, that's a good hour of relief for them, or the hour of relief from stressing out at work, or those kids at home, or those parents at home, whatever it is, they get to be here and they get to forget about it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's.
And every
the favorite
time
part.
someone, like a student comes back in, I could just see in all of your guys' faces, like, you guys are genuinely happy to see people that come back after 2 years, 1 year, whatever that break is, and that just goes to show like you guys have true relationships with these people. They're not just like, a number.
That's it.
Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah, and a lot of time it's funny because sometimes with the kids, I feel like they probably think I'm just disciplining them the whole time. But we'll have kids come back later on as older teens or young adults, and they'll be like, "Man, that was probably one of the better years of my life." I'm like,
Nice.
Aw,
it's
that's
funny.
rewarding.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
So what's the vision for AFS now? Like what do you
Ooh,
have?
$1 million question.
Yeah, seriously, because I hear things here and there, but like I want to kind of hear it from you guys. What's next?
Mr.
You know,
Aguirre.
it's too many things. It's too many
Yeah.
things happening right now because if you ask this question 5 years ago, 7 years ago, my answer would be different.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because, like right now, when you think we are up here and everything is good, things start happening. Like, for example, the thing that we have going on with the city of Fontana. 5 years ago, we were totally, even though I tried before to run this program with the police, it was never a go,
Yeah.
let's do it, because the liability that they have, they say they can get hurt and stuff like that, and then the police start getting hurt, and then the laws start changing and start limiting them to do what they're supposed to do, and that's when Jim Burton called me and say, I think it's time for us to do this. Now it's a totally different story. Now we have we create our own curriculum to teach the police. We don't have to go anywhere to get certified by anybody and pay $2,000 to do it, and we are certified. We have the post number and everything.
And we get
can-
free shirts too.
and the good thing is we were doing all this thing with the police. Now you come here in a couple of days, the first Thursday of every month, and you had the SWAT here, and we are working with the SWAT too. What is next? Maybe
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
we are trying to get some other departments. Then we have people training from Rialto and Riverside, San Bernardino with us. Then it's hard to answer that.
Yeah, you don't know
It's
where
a-
the next
yeah,
seed is gonna pop up out of. For reals. It's because maybe we've just planted seeds in places
Yeah.
we didn't know, and it just keeps happening, and the gym keeps evolving from everything. We've had the programs have evolved nonstop. We've taken some out. We've had it's just evolved over the years. You come back from one year to the next, and it's almost a different look.
Yeah, it's crazy because when you think about hopefully in this coming year and then something else coming up, and then something else coming up. Now with this curriculum thing that we have, we don't know if we are going to South America to teach classes over there or to Europe or anywhere. We can go anywhere right now and do it the way that other companies are doing it. And with the support that we have from the city, and it will be really hard because other cities see what we are doing. They are trying to do
Yeah.
it. And when that happens, going back to Jim Burton, that guy is the best in the world. That if I ask him, hey, Rialto want to talk to you, he just called them directly. Hey, what day can I go? Or Ontario. Now we have another great guy here that is trying to push Ontario to
Yeah.
George Ramirez, and we are working with him trying to make this happen. Then it's an unfair question to see where we
Yeah.
can be next.
Who knows what God's gonna do? Yeah.
And that is the thing. Like we trust the process, we trust that God is in control, and that's the main
you
thing.
guys have gotten this far by just trusting the process. I can
Oh,
only
yeah.
imagine. So is there a second location? Is that like a possibility that you guys are working on right now, or no?
We talk with a couple of people. Jay and I talk about doing something like maybe San Bernardino, then it's not too far and it's not too close to us. And,
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe even Rialto, because we had the possibility to do it, and the good thing is a lot of people know about us. It's not like, we are the thing is, when you go to San Bernardino, you go to even Orange County or up north, everybody know about what we do. Then it will be maybe not as hard as the beginning with this one to open another gym somewhere.
Right, yeah, you guys have more
I think
credibility.
we have the experience.
Yeah.
We made so many mistakes that we are not gonna make again, and I believe we are probably going to do that pretty soon. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything that you guys want to talk about specifically or wish people would know about AFS, about you as a coach, you as an admin and business builder? Anything?
Okay, for me, it's more about creating a culture, not just here, but a lot of academies are not well known because of a specific reason, whatever that reason is. I want, and I think everybody knows. Then I want everybody to know. Then we have something good going on in martial arts, but we are a group of people that believe in family. We believe then family first, and then you see what happened with the kids here. We have how many kids are here? Like 40 kids, 45 kids. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
And when you have parents coming to you and say, "You got to talk to my kid because whatever," is good, because when a parent come and trusts you with their own kids and they believe that you are giving the right advice to the kids and everything, and don't have nothing to do with martial art, it's with life. And that's what we have. Like Jay mentioned it earlier, like sometimes I go to events and I talk to guys and they say, "You have no idea who am I." They say, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "You used to be my coach when I was a kid." Then, 20, 25 years later, these guys still have that respect for you.
Yeah.
And I have guys that say, "I always want to be big like my coach." And now they are bigger, But it's good to see that stuff happening, because a lot of those guys have the kids in martial arts because of what happened with them in a
Yeah.
gym like this one.
Yeah.
And I think that is the main thing for me personally. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I want to see how far God can take us with the culture of building better people in general.
Yeah. I heard you tell one of the kids not too long ago, you were disciplining them, but you're like, my job isn't to make you just a better athlete or fighter. I want to make you a better human. I was like, dang, that's good. To hear that at 7 years old, 8 years old, they probably don't get that at home, or they don't get that push.
Yeah.
So
That
you're
falls,
doing
that falls in line with what I was thinking. I find myself often in mom mode.
yeah, yeah,
It just happens.
yeah.
And some people may think I'm a little bit mean.
Like it if you think she's a little bit mean.
Yeah, drop a comment in the chat. No, she's passionate.
Passionate, yes. And, it's something that just naturally comes out of me. I can't help it. I guess it's who I am.
Yeah,
And I truly think that it may come across mean sometimes, but at the
You
end of the
care.
day, they are learning respect. They are learning responsibility. That is their equipment, their key tags. It's their job to keep control of it and know where it is when they walk in this
which
door.
translates into life. Like they're
Yes,
gonna need to know these things
exactly.
for
And we won't even talk about bags in the other part of the gym.
Because we're all kicked out of the podcast right now.
We're going to keep it on the other end.
No, that's the part we want to hear.
Yeah, let's talk about it, Rena.
What about you? What do you think about? You have been with us like 8 months, 9 months? I don't know how many months.
It'll be a year next month.
Okay, 12 months.
Dang, that went by so fast.
What do you think? Now, from the moment that you came here, because you didn't even come for the gym, you came for something else. To now, what did you think about it?
Oh, I was talking to Danny yesterday, and we kind of had this moment. We're like, oh, dang, this is any pain, any sadness, any stress, anything. I was like, in 30 minutes, I'm about to transmute it. Like, so this is like a safe place for me. Like, I know, like, once I start training, anything and everything that's happening in the outside life world, it just completely goes away. And that's how I felt since the first week when I did the free trial. I remember just being so present, and I was like, what the heck? Like, because you have to think about so many things that I really enjoyed that. And then adding the whole aspect of every single person that comes in, and then especially now that I work here, I know every student. I feel like a genuine connection with everybody. It's different with every single person, especially the kids. And it's just seeing them grow, seeing, like, we're just all growing in different ways. Like, seeing Carlos, he just came to mind right now, just him and I started at the same time, and just seeing how much he's grown, and how I was just like, dude, I just love it. It's just like a place where it's safe, it's family, and it's like you said, therapeutic, so yeah.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I would definitely do it all over again. I don't have a regret at all. I don't, like,
Seriously?
from everything, from the student aspect, like, getting coached from you, and then working out with your product, and then being a part of the product too.
That's really cool.
I couldn't think of a better place to go and do it. I was traveling like 45 minutes to go train with other coaches at places, people would think is world renowned, and they're good. But yeah, coach, like, it was just, I was sold the first day, and I had known, but I think when I was gymless, when I wasn't, because what I was doing was I was driving to Brea to train with one of my old kickboxing coaches, Jamie, and he fought K1. Like, that's the other thing too. I was telling someone is mind blowing to me was I just got lucky to walk into the best coaches, from my stand up to the ground, my coaches were K1 fighters. They had fighters that were in K1. Then after I transitioned from kickboxing into MMA with Franklin, Franklin's a guru. Like, everybody always tells me, like, if you just could remember what that man's forgot, like, you're gonna be good.
Wow, yeah.
That's what they say. Like, and I'm like, well, the problem is I'm forgetful.
You forget.
I'm forgetful. So
someone hurry up and remember it.
Here. But so I just was lucky, and then so I wouldn't trade it. Even if you were like, hey, this coach is over here that I'd maybe not known about, I would have still been here.
Yeah, and even like yesterday during the MMA class, I was observing how you guys were coaching together, and it's just, you could tell you guys are on one accord. Like, when you guys coach, and just your guys' intention and how you guys see the students. And I think that's really special to have with Coach Francisco, Coach Jen. Like, just think of anybody. Like, it's people that are really invested here. You could tell, and you guys are on the same page and care about it in different styles. You guys have different ways of presenting it, but the heart of it it's there. It's like same foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same foundation.
And so many people, coaches and members alike, always say, I just love being here.
Yeah.
I just love being here. I'd rather be here than at home. We've had kids.
Yeah, Frank was saying that yesterday. He was telling us, he's like, there's literally the best investment I've ever made in my life is training here. He's like, I don't want to leave. I wouldn't leave. And she's like, dang.
Do you know that the other day, I talked to all the cops in Fontana and the SWAT and all those guys, and they are my heroes. You know, these guys are like I love these guys, and but there is this guy that always after the class he stay with me for 30 minutes, even an hour, and we just talk like Adrian Garcia, and I never forget one day we were talking after the class, and he was telling me, he said, Coach, something that I love is that once I walk through that door, all my problems stay there. Mm-hmm. He say, this is my detox time. He say, I don't let anybody interfere with this time. He say, I walk in here and I forget about everything else. I know somebody want to choke me out, somebody want to punch me or something. I got to be alert the whole time. I can't focus on what I have outside. Yeah. And he say, and when I am done here, he say, I feel a different person. And I always remember that because he actually said, like he mean it. Like, this is the time that I need every day.
They're all gluttons for punishment.
And then you know, when you see these guys and then they are so tough, you know, and they came here to be part of the program, you know, be part of the culture. It's amazing. Just having the opportunity to work with them, you know. I'm a pro police, and I love helping these guys and everything I can. And
I find myself praying for them every time I hear sirens.
Me too.
It tugs at your heart, you know, just keep that situation.
We get to see like a different side of police here.
It does.
Not even a different side, just a side of them, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they come in here and you could tell they stick around, like they want to be here. They want to train, you know, they have to. It's just it's a cool thing to witness.
You know, and something that I learned working with them is that, you know, I know there's people that it's not, you know, they don't like the police, but everybody needs to know these are humans like everybody else.
Yeah.
This is people that
with
have families and they struggle with the same things that you struggle. There's people that, you know, unfortunately they go to a case where everybody's mad already, and now they walk in there, they call them and they gotta go there, and now they are the bad guys. And those are things that a lot of people don't understand. But you need to sit and talk to these guys, you know, one-on-one, and you find out how many things you have in common with them.
Yeah.
They are so amazing, you know, and I really love working with them. And if it's something, I always tell people, like, it's two classes that I love to teach it, the cops and the kids. The kids, I want to choke them sometimes, you know, because they are like, but what a reward, you know, to see these kids growing. Like Jay said earlier, like sometimes you see these kids, and we have a guy coming back the other day, and he trained with us for a week, I think. He say, hey, Coach, do you remember me? I say, no, dude, I don't. And he showed me a picture where I was coaching him when he was a kid. Now he was in his
23,
24.
25,
this big guy, and I am like, and he's like, I just want to let you know that everything I accomplish is because the way that you push me, and I love you, and I listen to this kid, and I am like, oh my goodness, you never think about how much you can touch a person.
Yeah.
And he say, I pushed through wrestling, I pushed through this and this, just because you pushed me the way. And I was like, you know, this is insane how you can influence somebody in a way that is going to change their life forever.
Yeah, and there's actually science to back up why it's happening, though. It's because when our body is like in a high stress, and then you have your coaches voicing certain things, like there's certain sayings that I still remember that I use in my day-to-day, like you got to dig deep. Like you said that one time in training, and that stuck with me, and it was because I was like done. I was like, I didn't want to keep going. You got to dig deep. And then I take that onto life because it's like now wired in my brain when I'm in high stress to dig deep and keep going. And
cool.
So there's like science to it, which is really cool. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought like when he was saying, okay.
It's important to let people know that, you know, I mentioned to somebody the other day that I think it was a pastor then told me one day then there is 14 people that you know personally, then they will give anything to be you. They will change their life for yours in a heartbeat. There are 14 people. You don't know who they are. But there are 14 people you know, then they will give anything to be you. Then when I talk to the kids, when I have to discipline a kid, when I have to do something, or even a grown-up, in my head, I am thinking, maybe this is one of those 14 that will give anything to be me. Then I try to be the best example that I can to this.
Dang.
The other day, one dad came and he said, "Hey, coach, do you drink?" And I say, "Why?" He said, "No, I just, we went to up north and, we were drinking, we were having fun." And he said, "Do you have problem with alcohol?" I say, "No. I can drink a beer today if I want, and I don't drink a beer in 20 years. That is not my problem." I say, "Why?" He say, "No, I don't know. Do you have fun with you?" I say, "I have fun everywhere I go. I'm a Christian, dude." And then he say,
I got the joy of the Lord.
he say something then. He said, "Why?" And then you don't have a. I say, "Because when a kid walked through that door, and my promise to that kid is that they will never see me acting like a fool." I say, "And your daughter is one of them." And he was like, he got really quiet and he said, "Oh, that's good to hear that." I say, and I don't say drinking one or something is bad. I say, I don't want to sit in a bar, order a beer, and your daughter walking in that place with you, and now she see me, and then
Someone that she
what
looks up
happened?
to.
What happened
Yeah.
is she's gonna say, "If coach is doing it, must be okay." He said, "What if that is one of those 4 things?" You know what I mean? And then, but it's something that I always have in my heart. Like, I want to be a good, sometimes the kids don't, they get mad at you because the Bible says that discipline sometimes is not like as appreciated at the moment, but later on they will. But I always try to discipline the kids the best way that I can, and say things that I know is gonna stay with them. Like the way that you say, Jay said, dig deep. You never know when a phrase is gonna change somebody's life, and it's just a phrase. He probably don't even remember when he said that, but you do, and it's important. Then you say that. Sometimes we need to make that kind of stuff known because it helps, and with other people. Somebody said one day, he said, "You're not done when you're tired. You're done when it's over."
Yeah.
And you got to think that way. Sometimes you wanna throw up. Sometimes but there is something about finishing everything that you started, and you makes you feel like I did
Coach,
it.
but even you kind of took it out of the words out of my mind right now, because the first week that I was here, he would always say finish, because I would always stop. You gotta finish, and I realized I was at home. I was like, dang, I kept stopping before I finished, and I started reflecting, where else do I do that, And it's so it doesn't take 5 months of training or 6 months of training to start already having your brain get rewired from this. It's
for sure.
Interesting.
pretty
huh?
crazy, yeah. Coach, when I first started working as an admin, I asked you, I'm like, so when do I ask them for the sale? Because I've been in sales before, and that's always something you got to do, after the free trial. And you told me don't, and I was like, what? What do you mean don't ask for the sale? No, they'll tell you when. And till this day, I've never. It still blows my mind. I don't have to ask for the sale, and it kind of blows my mind, but it doesn't, because I do have full confidence. When they sign that waiver, that they're about to experience something they've never experienced, and every month we have new students, and not once do I have to ask for it. And I think that in itself is huge, because again, in sales, that's not that's not
It's against sales.
That's against sales 101, you know? So when you told me that, I was like, well, okay, all right, well, I won't. And then they started asking for the sale. I was like, wow, okay, I love that.
way.
But it's interesting because today, 2 people, then the week trial ends, came to me and say,
Always.
we need to sign up.
Yep.
We need to. And one of the girls came and she said, I know you're busy, but should we sign up now? Or I come tomorrow morning. I say, whatever is good for you.
Okay, you did that to me too. I asked for the sale, and you're like, tomorrow. I was like, dude, what? And then the next day, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. Again, sales 101 is you ask for a sale, you close it.
Yeah.
So I remember that. I was like, what the heck? But now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, because you're not worried because you know what we have.
Well, product and presentation. Like if you have a good product, it's going to go somewhere. But you also see too people that don't have good product, they have good presentation and they still do well.
Yeah.
So we have amazing product, like it works, and our presentation is, I mean, once you walk into it, you're like,
you never hear a person say, oh, this is not what I'm doing.
I've never heard anybody say anything negative about it. If anything, it's just been people that are lazy and don't want to do it. Like, it's not because there's something about the gym. It's just people are like not into it.
Yeah, it wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah.
But still, like,
but it's not
you don't want second rate.
Yeah.
So when you walk in and you know it works and it's going to work well, like, that's typically what you're going to go
I recall one person saying that this was not the gym for them because
No, but it's
we're too Christian.
Oh.
He was casting and I have kids in the gym. I said, you can't do that. He said, what do you mean? I said, you can't. Don't you see that we have kids here? And he said, oh, this gym is too Christian for me. I say, yes, it is.
The only time I've ever heard that. Now, granted, there could be people that just don't verbalize it. And don't come out,
Sure.
But you got to think about, is that working well for us? Like being the way that we are? Like I'm telling you today, 2 people say, we come back later.
Yeah.
You say, just
it's
come,
always
know.
today's the last day or there's a couple days left. Can I just sign the contract now?
Yeah.
That's always what it is.
That happens a lot.
I knew by this second day I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be here I'm gonna do it.
No, seriously, it is. That is the greatest thing because sometimes people get fired because they gotta sell so many
quota.
And they can't. And here, people want to sign up. So I used to sit in the front desk and try to sell the product to people. People walk in this gym and they want to buy the product. People walking here and I say, how did you hear? Oh, don't worry. Just I know this. And they just ask me for the application.
And even when I do when I walk them back or I do a walkthrough, when I'm talking to them, I literally am like, as if this is my house. Like, hey, here's the rest if you need to use it. Like, we're just hosting them. It's not like so we have this and that. Like, I just show and I think they feel that. They feel, and I'm not even forcing it. It's just naturally that's what I feel this is. It's just, here's our home. Yeah. Come hang out. Take off your feet or your shoes though. And that's it.
And you saw the kid yesterday that he walked in the gym and he just walk and just don't say hi to anybody. And his dad is behind him and my dad would smack me in the back of my head if I did that. And I say, hey, you don't say hi? You just walk in my house and you just assume it's your house?
Yeah.
I say, come on, dude, say hi. And then his dad say something to him. But
his
then he was,
it's
you start teaching respect from the moment that they walk in. And there's a lot of times, the parents don't do that at home. They got to learn it. Then you teach the kid and the parent.
No, seriously. Yeah. Happens a lot here too.
But it's fun. A lot of people they when they ask me what do you do for a living, I feel bad because I just play with my friends.
Hang out with my friends, take pictures and videos and post them online.
I just hang out with my friends and I get paid with. But that is the greatest thing. How many people can say I got up in the morning to go and do what I love to do? Yeah. Jay, I always hear Jay saying that like this is the best thing.
What else could you ask for?
And that's how I feel in the mornings. And, had a lot of pains and aches in my body and everything. But once I came here, everything changed. Somebody came and talked to you, asked you something, and it changed everything that day.
Yeah, one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about another highlight of the gym, and that's you.
No, don't do that. I get awkward.
You guys both getting awkward.
Dang.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
That was crazy.
We're just emotional beings.
We
Sorry.
are.
Sorry,
We
logical
are.
men.
Yeah, they
But seriously, we had been searching for someone to eventually replace me, is the bottom line. And we needed someone that would be God-fearing, that would be intelligent, and wanting, not going to school to go to another career after they're done with school. Somebody that intended to be here for any length of time. And we've been searching for several years now. And I would pray about it and pray about it and pray about it. And finally, I just kind of quit praying about it. And I said, if it's going to happen, God will make it happen. And then you just dropped into our lap. Coming to that Bible
But Gio
study.
forced me. He kept.
Did he?
Yeah, he was like dragged me into the Bible study, but I'm grateful for it. It was
Yes.
meant to be for sure.
So I am not kidding when I say you literally were a blessing that God just dropped into our lap, and I'm so grateful to have you.
Oh, I'm grateful for you guys. Can we just have a moment? Can we just
Yeah.
cry together on camera?
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding. No, I appreciate you, and I feel the same way. I mean, definitely was not in my plans, but God's plans, definitely, they don't make sense all the time until we look
Nate
back.
did come back the other day, Coach.
Yeah. Nate was good. Nate was good. Yeah.
Who's Nate?
Nathan was
Nathan,
good. Yeah.
big tall guy that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you talked to him. He came in the morning.
I don't think
Yeah, he
Ashley was here.
maybe.
Jay,
he
why are
was
you trying to
like
kick me off and kill the mood right now?
He's like 3 admins ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was. One of the things.
No, but
one-
it's part of the family though. Like he laid. some
We
of
can
the
share that. We can
foundation.
share. We can
He
share.
laid
No,
some
You already
foundation.
are trying to get iPads to check people in. I'm like, you're trying to get me like fired.
then it's
Be
interesting.
more productive. No.
No, it's interesting because I actually was here just working out. And one day I told Rena, "What do you think about?" She said, "I don't know."
Why is she always here?
Yeah.
Does she work?
She's already here. Like
We should offer her the
yeah.
admin.
And then I mentioned it and I say, "Let's ask just to see."
And I went, oh,
But it is crazy. I was actually thinking about this because, again, it's like the 1 year's coming up. That at the beginning of, or the end of June is when I left my job because of just funny business was going on. And so when I came here, I was like, I'm going to do the free trial, but I'm still figuring out my second job, like, stability. So I'm not going to be able to afford it. But then I took the 3 days. I'm going to find a way to afford it. I don't know how. And so it was like a very transitional moment in my life. Use it as like a therapy. And then also opportunity came up. I remember we were doing a podcast just for fun. I wasn't working for you guys, but we were just doing it. And then you're like, what do you do for work? I was like, well, I have this job, but nothing in the morning or whatever. And then, yeah, it didn't make sense. And I have my Bible. And I don't know if I was telling you or you, because I told you guys, like, let me pray about it, like, when you guys offered it to me. Because, again, it didn't make sense in my head fully. I was like, well, like, this is not in my plans of what I was thinking. And I went to go talk about it with God, and I wrote down, like, a schedule, like, what it would look like. And I was like, God, it doesn't make sense, but it felt like this is what he was like, yes, just go. Like, this is where you got to be. This is where you got to be. And then when that time passes, I'm like, oh, like, makes more and more sense, so... Thank you guys for trusting me.
And we just fit so well immediately. You fit well. Everybody loves you. Your personality is great. You're professional. You just
Try knitting.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's
Grateful
great.
to have you.
Anything else? Anybody? We can talk about this for the rest of the day, but you gotta.
We'll have to do a part 2 on a little more of the history of AFS.
Yeah.
On the who's.
Yeah.
Who's like
Ins,
who's what does that mean?
like the people that
Oh.
help establish. You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot
There's
of
a lot.
people from. I mean, out of like the 13, there's families that help us put bags up, lay the mats down,
Aw.
move equipment, sweep out the place. Like there's a lot.
Crazy.
People
Well, that's
wanted
what the
to
family
help.
culture really originated.
People wanted to like help market the gym,
Aw.
print for the gym, just all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of people,
you're right.
and that's really where the culture just
Yeah.
Evolved.
develops and evolves. And but I mean, it starts with who's teaching and who's running the facility, and it carries on. But yeah, there's a lot of people that help establish and get us to where we are. Some people we probably don't care to talk about, but they helped in a way.
Oh,
And then there's also people that we just
You're right.
forever be in our hearts. Some in different states, some in just
Oh,
different towns.
there's people that live and come back 5 years later. We just continue the conversation we
Yeah.
had 5 years ago. It's special brothers. Then they are like little brothers to me. Seriously.
Yeah.
And like how the team evolved, and just it's crazy to think like Franklin when his first his first set of guys that I got to meet is probably like 10-15 years of him already teaching. So I'm already, way late when I got to meet his guys, but
Yeah.
I remember while I was teaching, we would be like, dude, those guys are like, they're really tough. Everybody knew it.
Tough and like how they.
Like how they fought.
Oh, okay.
Well, that too. That too. How they talk too. How they fought, how they train. And I caught the back end of where he got his last set of pros and those amateurs, and kind of just been rebuilding. But you can kind of feel it coming back. You feel these guys
Yeah.
ready to dig back, and then
Why always
this
like
group of little
look at the banners and the people? I'm like, who are they? Like, what's their story? Where'd they go? The ones that are.
A great conversation.
The other day we have one of those guys on the banner coming. He's a cop
Oh.
and Rialto. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot more to
Yeah, we gotta do get
Part
together
two.
again and just yeah.
That was a good one.
yeah.
Yeah. We could do that.
Alright.
All right. Well.
Anything else? Anybody? I just want to thank you guys, everybody, because this is crazy. We are 15 years later in this location, like doing better than ever. Like it's just getting better every day. Yeah, more opportunity, more people that want the best for us, more people that is pushing us to do better, and I'm blessed to be here with you guys. It's great.
There's so much I want to say, but I'm just gonna chill. So I'll start a whole other conversation. So thank you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach too.
Yeah, thank you guys, because
Finally.
you guys are the one that keep this machine going. Like honestly, it's we make it sound like it's really not a big. No, this is more difficult than what you think, and if you don't have the right people around you, it's not gonna work. And that's the main thing, having the right people, the people that we can trust, the people
Right.
that then you can, sometimes I go and travel, and I remember the first, I don't know, probably 7 years, every time that I was out of the country, I was calling Jay like every hour, and he just say, Coach, if something happened, I call you. Don't call me. Just do whatever. Forget about this. And it took a long time for me to feel comfortable doing that. Now I go and Jay gotta call me. He needs some-
Rena leaves for 5 months.
Yeah. And then that is the greatest thing about the gym. That now, I want the gym to be at the point where, they are right here and they can do.
And we feel comfortable that they've
Yeah.
got it.
Because everybody cares about it like you guys care about it, Like people are taking care of it. The conversations are making sure that everything's good.
And that in itself is very unique.
Yeah. Yeah, because in other spots, the boss is gone. It's like, oh, free game.
Free for all.
Yeah, like it's
Classes canceled.
it's canceled.
Yeah, no, I
No
know.
holiday.
Yeah, but no, it's not here. And even the parents. That's one thing I want to say real quick is the parents of the kids, like they're always here, and you can just tell that, man, they come because they're coming straight from work, and they kind of even take a deep breath when they come, and they're not even training. They're just coming to see their kids, and they stick around. They have conversations with the coaches, and then when we have events, they're so willing to like, hey, like to help and stuff like that. So the fact that you guys said how what
No, I'll tell you right now.
how you guys started with that type of environment where everyone's just kind of helping, like it just seems like that's still happening till this day. You know, it's people are just so willing to help you guys out because they care about you. And like even like what Steven said up north is he trusts Jay with his kids like 100%. Like that's not normal.
No.
To be able to trust just another human being, another man that as a coach, I don't know. I think just all those little conversations adding up, it's just special.
Oh no, I'm laughing because for years I've been an advocate of like pushing the parents out. I'm like, let's get rid of the bleachers. let's just like have them just leave and let's train the kids.
That's very true.
But they're very supportive of us, so I guess it's but yeah, but no, it's just because parents like to they want to intervene while you're teaching them, and it's like that's not gonna work if you don't know what you're if you don't know what you're doing. But I know what I'm doing. You're trying to the dynamics off. Yeah. So I've always been an advocate of like let's get.
But I feel like you've been pretty good at voicing that now,
we really
right?
haven't had that. And
Now that
Good
coach
for them.
puts them in their post.
good for them. They can stay. We'll keep the benches a little bit longer.
The another thing that we gotta be so thankful is and for the belt promotion. The last one, I had some guy from the SWAT putting the chairs together for. I had guys from. I got here at 7:30, and I have 4 or 5 guys waiting. Yeah, and I was like, guys, you guys came early. Oh, we thought we were on time, but it's crazy to see then.
That's
How many people can say that?
The trust, the love, the respect, the willingness for them to go out of their way, or maybe it's not out of the way, but still like
Take their
give us time to
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely a amazing community that we've got to develop, and hopefully other people catch on and be like, hey, their gym's doing good, and honestly, we're kind of leading the industry in a lot of stuff. So
That's good.
that's a good team to replicate. But
Well, I look forward to part 2 where we can dig deep.
Yeah,
there you go.
have names and everything. We don't want to forget some of the names. Yeah, they were.
Very name it.
Yeah.
there's a lot of people where you're gonna be like, whoa, I mean, I forget if a student's gone for a couple of weeks and I'll kind of remember. So yeah, I'll have to do some digging. But yeah, there's a lot of people that just help establish us, help build.
That will be a cool podcast to hear about all those people.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't know that I don't even know. So that's really cool to like
15 years worth of people coming in and sweating on the mats,
Yeah,
getting us mad.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
All right. Who wants to pray out? Jay, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Heavenly Father, thank you, God, for this opportunity. Thank you for letting everybody know about this AFS culture that we have. For right now, only here in Fontana, but everybody knows around the country. Thank you for the blessings of be free and tell people about you, especially. And we love you, and that we are here because we know it's part of your program too. We ask you to bless this day, bless everybody that we came in contact with, and to be with us the rest of the day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Cut.
That was good. Yeah, you guys talk too. I was looking through.